You are watching the news on the hour, brought to you from the Anglican Cable Network Nigeria, ACNN. I am Zubechi Frank. You are welcome. The Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion has elected new bishops to replace retiring ones. The announcement was made at the just concluded Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion Standing Committee held at the Cathedral Church of St. Andrew Okere Road, Warri, in Delta State. Venerable Okuyalu Ebenezer Akorede is the bishop-elect of the Diocese of Osun North-East. Venerable Christian Oyeka Onya is the bishop-elect of Nike Diocese, while the Venerable Festus Shobanke is the bishop-elect of the Diocese of MOGHALU. They would be replacing the retiring bishops of their various dioceses. The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has extended collection of permanent voter cards to Monday, February 11, 2019. Chairman of the Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, made the announcement on Friday during a meeting with resident electoral commissioners. With the general elections just about a week from now, the Commission had announced that the deadline for the collection of PVCs will end on Friday, the 8th of November. With the general elections just about a week from now, the Commission had announced that the deadline for the collection of PVCs will end on Friday, 8th of February 2019. The decision to extend the date was, however, reached after the resident electoral commissioners gave situation reports on the collection of PVCs in their respective states. Nobel laureate Professor WOLE SOYIKKA has endorsed Professor Kingsley MOGHALU, one of candidates running for the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. SOYIKKA and his civil society group Citizens Forum made the announcement in a statement personally signed by him and obtained by newsmen on Friday. According to SOYIKKA, the decision to endorse MOGHALU was reached after months of rigorous analysis of the profiles and manifestos of the various candidates vying for the nation's top job. Mr. MOGHALU, a lawyer and university professor, is running on the platform of the Young Progressive Party, the YPP. WOLE SOYIKKA, a professor, had a few days ago called on Nigerians not to vote for President Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressive Congress, as well as his main challenger ATIKU Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party. He said both parties and their candidates have failed Nigeria and have nothing new to offer to the country. Former Governor of Cross River State, Mr. Donald Duke, says he still remains the presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party, the SDP, and would present himself for the February 16th poll. Duke said this in a statement on Friday in Lagos while reacting to the decision of the National Executive Committee, the NEC, of the party to withdraw him from the election and adopt President Muhammadu Buhari as its preferred candidate. Duke identified internal management of party affairs as the bane of the nation's democracy. He said his decision to run for the presidency was to afford the electorate a credible alternative. The SDP NEC had on Thursday announced the party's withdrawal from the presidential race while adopting Buhari, the All Progressive Congress candidate, for the poll. It explained that the decision was based on the protracted legal issue facing the party. The Federal High Court in Lagos has declared former Governor of Oyo State, Rashid LADOJA, and a former Commissioner for Finance, Wahid Akombi, not guilty of the 4.7 billion naira fraud allegations leveled against them by the EFCC. At the hearing of the case on Friday, Justice Mohammed Idris stated that the prosecution was not consistent with the amount of money missing from the sale of the Oyo State government's shares. The court thereafter found them not guilty of all the 11 counts. The court had reserved judgment in the matter on January 21st, bringing to an end a protracted trial which started in 2008. It will be recalled that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission had accused Mr. LADOJA of converting 4.7 billion naira from the state's treasury to his personal use. He was arraigned alongside his former Commissioner for Finance, Wide Akombi, on 11 counts of money laundering and unlawful conversion of public funds. The National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, has called for a sincere implementation of the agreements reached between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, the ASU. Mr. Adeyemi Aziz, the National Public Relations Officer of the association, made the call in a statement in Abuja. According to the association, the implementation of the agreements will put an end to strikes in the nation's education sector. Recall that the Academic Staff Union of Universities, the ASU, announced its conditional suspension of its nationwide strike, which came after a series of meetings between top government officials and members of the union. The National Association of Nigerian Students called on both the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities to see the 90-day strike as the end to the avoidable strikes in Nigerian universities. And on business news, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, says it will go after 40,000 millionaires who have been defaulting on taxes in 2019. According to a statement released in Abuja, Babatunde Fowler, FIRS Executive Chairman, made this known while receiving Mohammed Adamu, the Acting Inspector General of Police. Fowler said the FIRS recovered 23 billion naira from 45,000 people who had more than 100 million naira in their accounts in 2018 through substitution of their bank accounts. Fowler said the service would give the police a list of the tax defaulters to enable collaboration between both agencies. The acting IG assured FIRS that the police would continue to support the service because the job of revenue generation was critical to the survival of the nation. Adamu said that the service rendered by FIRS is important for the survival of the country. We shall now go on a short commercial break. News on the hour continues in a moment. Please stay with us.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has spelled out the voting procedures for the 2019 general elections via its verified Twitter handle, INEC Nigeria. The following are the 7 steps as stated by INEC. Step 1. Upon arrival at the polling unit, join the queue and present yourself to the INEC official at the polling unit, who will determine whether you are at the correct polling unit and check if the photograph on the permanent voter's card matches your face. If satisfied, he or she will direct you to the next INEC official. Step 2. The official will request for your PVC to confirm that your card is genuine and your details using the smart card reader. He or she will ask you to place your finger on the card reader to confirm that the PVC belongs to you. By ascertaining, the card reader will contain the name, photograph, and fingerprints of all those registered in their polling unit. Step 3. You will then meet the next official who will request for your PVC to confirm that your name and your details are in the voters register. Your name will be ticked and your PVC returned to you. He or she will then apply indelible ink to the cubicle of your appropriate finger for that election to show that you have been accredited to vote. If your name is not found on the register, you will not be allowed to vote. Step 4. The presiding officer stamps, signs, and endorses the date at the back of the ballot paper. The presiding officer will roll the ballot paper inwardly with the printed side inward and give it to you. He or she will then direct you to the voting cubicle where you will vote in secret. Step 5. You will stain your appropriate finger for the election with the ink provided. Then use your stained finger to mark the space or ballot provided on the ballot paper for your preferred candidate or party. Roll the marked ballot paper in the manner the presiding officer gave you. Step 6. Then leave the voting cubicle and drop the ballot paper in the ballot box in full view of people at the polling unit. Step 7. You will then leave the polling unit or wait, if you so choose, in an orderly and peaceful manner to walk the process up to the declaration of results. Note: the results of each polling unit shall be pasted at the unit and for everyone to see.
You are welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. For more on our top stories, please visit our website at acnntv.com or youtube.com/ACNNTV. To be up to date with our news and other programs, download the ACNN app for Android from Google Play Store. And now to foreign news. The chairman, GARCON, Primates Council, and the primates of all Nigeria Anglican Communion, His Grace the Most Reverend Dr. Nicholas D. OKOH, has reiterated the warning and advice given to all churches after the 2018 GARCON that held in Jerusalem, telling them to avoid 2020 Lambeth Conference. Archbishop OKOH gave this admonition in his letter to all GARCON faithful, where he argued that attending Lambeth Conference come 2020 will be a hindrance to the gospel of Jesus Christ by embracing teaching and a pattern of life which are profoundly at odds with the biblical witness and the apostolic Christianity through the ages. He reminded that without discipline, the church will be like a prey to the fierce wolves, even those who arise from within the church and speak twisted things. Finally, he asked the faithful press forward to fulfill the great aim affirmed at the first GARCON in 2008, to give clear and certain witness to Jesus Christ. The United States has asked the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to resist external pressure and intimidation in the upcoming general elections scheduled for February 16th and March 2nd. The United States Secretary of State Michael Pompeo, in a press statement, said that the upcoming elections in Nigeria would be an opportunity for the country to solidify its democratic leadership in Africa. The United States and the international community have continued to call for credible and peaceful general elections in the country. The country had described Nigeria's 2019 general elections as a critical test for the country, the ECOWAS sub-region, and the entire continent. Moving on to sports news, British police have said the body recovered from the submerged wreckage of a plane that went down in the English Channel more than 2 weeks ago has been identified as that of footballer Emiliano Sala. The light aircraft was carrying the 28-year-old footballer from France to his new Premier League team, Cardiff City, when it disappeared near the British island of Guernsey, along with 59-year-old pilot David Ibbotson. The striker's body was spotted by British rescuers using a remotely operated underwater vehicle close to where the plane vanished from radar on January 21st. His body was recovered on Wednesday and brought to the Isles of Portland in southern England for formal identification on Thursday by coroners who investigate deaths in Britain. So that's it on this edition of the News on the Hour. I want to thank you for watching. I am Zubechi Frank.